You guys ready? Alright, Diesel, wait. Alright, Cora, wait. Alright, wait. Okay. Sit. Nope, sit. Hi guys. Right. Right. Sit. Good girl. Good boy, Diesel. Very cute. Yes, good girl. Good boy. Alright, so a lot of people, well, one person at least, but everybody kind of wanted me to start doing training videos, and the first training video that somebody thought that I should do would be a basic obedience, which is an obvious place to start. Sorry if I'm itching a lot. I've been having really bad itchy skin lately. I don't know what's causing it, but if I itch throughout the video, ignore it. These guys have been itching too because we're still figuring out their allergies. Just fun. We all get to figure out allergies. So we're going to do a basic obedience video today. I'm going to try to use Diesel a lot for the demonstrations, but Cora will also be used for some of the demonstrations. I just figured Diesel's a little bit more raw because he's trained, but Cora has obviously more hours of training than Diesel does. I had her longer. Diesel, lay down, buddy. So Diesel's kind of a little bit more, I don't know, raw, I guess is the best way to put it. So today we're going to be working on sit, down, and stand. Later on we'll do videos for healing and other things like tasking, like medicine retrievals. And those will kind of be videos I'll do later on down the road as we go. If you ever have a video that you want me to show how I train something, or if you want to see a demonstration video for something, let me know, and I will try to get to as many as I can. I do work a full-time job, so I only have certain times to do videos, and I'm usually exhausted. So, okay, you guys ready? Good job, guys. You ready? Okay. Alright, so Cora, can you go lay down? Go lay down. All the way. All the way. Please. Diesel's like, oh, lay down. All the way, Cora. Thank you. She ate a piece of paper. Alright, so Diesel, we're going to work on sit. What you're doing right now and being a good boy. Huh? Yes. Alright, so when you're teaching sit, both my dogs were what's called lure trained. Sorry. Which means that I lure them into a position, mark the position, and then treat. A lot of people use clickers, clickers are great. I love clickers. But I don't usually, for one, I don't know where mine is right now. And I don't usually have mine out when I'm training. So for my dogs, their cue word is yes, said really happily and energetically, and then they get their treat. And I try to be as quick with the yes as I can, but sometimes it's hard. Which is why, another reason why clickers are kind of good. Can you leave my hand alone? Thanks. Be great. So I use yes, and that's how I'll be showing you guys how to train. But if you have a clicker, all you would do is in place of saying yes, you would click and then treat. And when you're first training the clicker, there's tons of other videos on YouTube that I'll show you kind of how to start with that. But for these guys, I really didn't have to like wean them into it. I just kind of replaced yes with the clicker, gave them a treat, and they realized that if they did something right, I would click, and then they would get a treat. So, I didn't do anything fancy to train them on the clicker. They like the clicker a lot. I just rarely use it. Alright, so to teach sit, you would lure your dog into a sitting position, and then you say yes and treat. Just like this. Alright, Diesel, ready? Yes! And as you saw, I waited until he got all the way up into a seated position before I said yes and gave him a treat. Alright, down. Lay down. He's a good boy. Alright, so again, I'm going to show you guys again. So, trade my hand. Yes! So, another thing that I would like to kind of give you guys a tip on, Diesel, you lay down? Good boy. Is don't use big, huge treats. There's a lot of treats on the market. They're like dog bones or cookies that are like, you know, yay big. You don't need them. And if you do get treats like that, that's totally fine. I get treats that are bigger and I just break them down into tiny little pieces. Like this you can probably barely see, but that's like kind of like the size treat I normally give them, if not smaller. And like stuff like this, I break down into smaller pieces. Like you'll see me sometimes, I'll just break it down before a video. But that's kind of my tip of the day. Like don't give them anything big. You can also feed your dog kibble, which is another thing I have in my hand here, and that works just as well. I mean, really anything that's food oriented. If you guys have a dog with less of a food drive that really like, I mean not like less of a food drive, but he like needs like chicken or beef or whatever to really act well, you can always do that too. It just kind of depends on finding what's good for your dog, and it should really only take like a little tiny pinch of whatever that you're using to get your dog to do what you want them to do. If you're teaching something really big, like when I teach Cora her tasks, I do something called a jackpot, which I give her basically like this handful of treat plus like maybe one or two more tiny pieces would end up being a jackpot. And we also do a little puppy party where I pet her a lot and dance around with her, and we get really excited and wound up. And that's kind of like her jackpot, you did it, you finally did it kind of moment. And that's kind of when I teach them like new stuff. So I don't really show you any jackpot moments when I'm teaching them like sit, because they should know this, something that they know. If you're teaching a new puppy sit though, and you get really excited when they finally do sit, go ham. Go ham with your puppy. Give them a big party. They'll realize that that was something that they did that was really well, and then they'll start doing it more and more and more because they love that response. Alright, Cora, you're in my way here. Can you lay down? Thank you. For Cora, sometimes I'll say thank you, and that's because she does tasks and stuff, and so that's kind of my way of just saying, like, you did a good job, thank you for doing that for me, I appreciate it. So I ask her to lay down, she lays down, I say thank you. I kind of have started talking to my dogs like they're actual humans. So if I start doing that, it's just me. Thank you. But that's how she does tasks sometimes, because when she gives me something, like when I go have her retrieve something and she brings it to me, I'll say thank you, because that's her yes cue for retrievals. You lay down? Thank you. Alright, so Diesel again. Here. So you'll lure. Yes! Treat. And then to start teaching the wording, and just so you guys know, this would go the same if like you wanted to teach your dog a different language, or if you wanted to teach him sign language or anything else. I started these guys off with hand signals pretty quick. Whenever I would have them do something, I would say the word and a hand signal at the same time, and then when they would do it, I would say yes and treat whatever. they pick up on the hand signals before they pick up on the words. So I pretty much use hand signals and words every time I train them, which has helped them kind of put those all together. And then it also helps me when I'm teaching them later on down the way, like different languages. I've taught Cora French and I've taught her Dothraki. If you guys know what that is, I commend you. But I've taught her in a couple different languages, and so in order to teach her those different languages, I used hand signals, because she picked up on the hand signals and understood what those meant and was able to pick up on the other words. And she's actually better at down. When I say coucher, which is French for down, she's actually way better at that than actual down. So for Diesel, I taught him this hand signal and sit first. So you would put this is a good hand signal to use because you can put the treat in your hand and then put it by their nose and still lure them into it. Sit. Good boy. Which is why I did that with him, because he needed that luring still. For Cora, I think I had it in my fingers like this, and then I did, Cora, sit. Yes, good girl. So hers is 2 fingers up like that, and I put the treat in my hand again, so I kind of lured her into it, but she got that this was the signal for sit. And I used the same hand to signal as I use with the treat in it. And I use, obviously, this way with her, that way with Diesel. So it has the treat still enclosed in my hand. I'm still luring, but I'm teaching them association with the word and the hand signal at the same time. And when they do the action, they still get the reward. So now, once you've done that several times, it can take a long time for your dog to really get this. Just depends. Cora was really fast, Diesel was really slow. All depends on the dog. Come here, Cora. Or not. Guess Diesel gets it. Alright, Diesel. He sits. Good boy. Alright, so Diesel and Cora are very good at sit, obviously. Now for down. And you'll see I just split one that I thought was a little bit too big into 2 pieces. So now for down. So down, it was a little bit harder for both of them to learn. Actually, Diesel wasn't that bad because he loved laying down. He's very docile, and so when he gets scared, he instantly curls up into a little Diesel mound of fluff and kind of hides from the world. Cora, however, was really hard to teach how to do down. I didn't know if I was ever going to get her to do that. So come here, Cora. Okay. Diesel, I need you out of my way for a second, buddy. Please. Thank you, buddy. Okay, Cora. Off. So for down, you start with the treat at the nose. See how she's very interested in this treat. She'll follow it wherever I put it. And then you start moving it down, all the way down to the toes. And then I moved it forward, obviously, until she goes into a full down. Good girl. Alright, sit. So again, veer it all the way down between the toes. Okay. Make sure that they're following the whole way. And then forward. Yes! And then treat. Like I said, it was really hard to teach her how to do it. And as you see with the luring, she even still is a little bit weird about it. She obviously knows how to do down now, but she wasn't sure what I was doing with the luring, because I wasn't telling her what I wanted. I was just kind of pulling her to the ground. Alright, Cora. Yes. And then with down, I use 2 fingers and point down. Down. And I do it with them, next to their face. She's like, what are you doing? Okay, nope, sorry. Sit. Please. You're a good girl, though. That was good. Now. Alright. So, when I'm teaching her down, I'm going to lure her nose with the treat. I'm going to say the word down, and I'm also going to use my hand to point down to the ground, so she gets all of those in conjunction with each other so she can tell what I'm doing. And again, you're going to do this when they have gotten the luring down and they're doing it pretty much 90% to 100% of the time. Nope, sit. I wasn't done yet. Alright, so down. Yes, good girl. And I'm sure if you've watched other videos, you'll notice that obviously you have to wait till the dog is completed with their task. Like when Diesel was doing sit, I waited until he was fully seated before I said yes and gave him a treat. Same with down. You have to wait for their little arms to be all the way on the ground before you say yes and give them a treat. Otherwise, you end up with something like this. All right, Cora, sit. All right, Cora, down, yes. Oh, she actually wouldn't do down this time. Sometimes she'll pop back up and just look at me like I'm crazy. All right, sit. Down, yes. Okay, so she's doing it really good right now because she knows I'm going to treat her anyways. Good girl. That was a good down. Yes, it was. Yes, it is. Can I kiss us? Okay. So Cora loves giving kisses, and I love giving her kisses. That's probably the only mouth contact I like with my dogs, is when I ask for mouth kisses. Otherwise, no kisses. Though she gives me kisses all the time because she can't help herself. I tell people she can't control her liquor, but she can't. So that's down. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, really. I mean, you just lure them into a down, mark them for doing the down, and then you treat them for doing the down. And that's pretty much how you train almost everything. Like, literally. Diesel, come here. Block. Come here. Block. Come on, all the way over. All the way over. Yes. Good boy, yes. Oh. Don't pay attention, Diesel. It's a trick. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. All right, Cora. Ready?
I'm giving you any, so
Look.
go over here for
All the way, no, up. Yes. Good girl. So now the hard one is stand. So for stand, we're still kind of working on what hand signal works best for them because, I mean, it's hard to make something like sit and then down and then stand. Like, I don't know. I'm really bad at making hand signals. I really am. Something I struggle with. Excuse me, buddy. So I've been doing like a stand because that's what I remember from elementary school, how they would tell us how to stand up is stand. Everybody up, you know? And it's been working a little bit better than the other ones that we've been using. But I still have to kind of guide them sometimes. So for this one, you do a lure and then you kind of do like a butt lift, but you don't really put pressure. I'll show you what I mean. Diesel, follow the treat. Yes, good boy. So my hand is underneath his stomach, right underneath the ribs, and sometimes I'll even do it closer to the legs, which he has a little junk there. Not like a lot of junk because he's fixed, but he has a little junk there. So sometimes it's kind of awkward because I grab that. But either right here behind the ribs or right here in front of the legs, either one works. But it's just a gentle hand. It's not like I'm not pushing him up. I don't have strength in my arm to do that. He's way too heavy for that. So I just put the pressure there and he understands that means that his legs go up. Alright, you sit. Yes, a good boy. Alright, stand. Yes, good boy. See how I just need to kind of put my hand under there and then he understands that that's what that means. Sit. Yes. Yes, good boy. So again, you do that a couple times where you lure and push. I said stand, obviously, the second time accidentally because I wasn't thinking. But you do that until they're doing it pretty much every time that you're telling or luring them into it. Alright, sit, Diesel. Alright, he stand. So when he leans back like this, I can't do that because he won't get it. Alright, stand. Where'd you go? Stand. Yes, good boy. So I have to kind of pull him forward a little bit before I can get him to stand up. Over here. Alright, Diesel, ready? Stand up. Yes, good boy. And you'll see my hand, it really didn't have to touch him at all. I just kind of put it underneath him and he understood that that's what that meant. Now let's see if you can do it without me cueing you. Alright, sit. Alright, stand. Nope. Stand. Come on, yes, good boy. So I literally just touch him. And he's like, woo! Stands right up. Alright, let's show Cora doing hers. Come here, Diesel. Over here. Lay down, please. Thank you. Alright, Cora, you ready? Here. Sit. Diesel, you're done. You lay down, buddy? Thank you. Alright, so Cora, stand. Yes, good girl. So you'll notice after she stands, I put my hand back behind her legs because her automatic response is to sit back down. Cora doesn't like standing. Okay, come back over here. Alright, you can sit. Good girl. Yes, good girl. So for her, I put my hand underneath after she stands up because I'm trying to prevent her from automatically plopping back into a sit before I can say yes and give her a treat. Because otherwise I'm just teaching her how to sit again, and that's been our kind of issue from the beginning. Alright, Cora, sit. Yes, good girl. Alright, stand. Yes, good girl. So, see, I don't even put my hand underneath her because she doesn't need this kind of pressure. I put my hand here so she doesn't sit on my hand because she won't. And so with lure training, you can teach them how to do a lot of different things. Like for pressure, I taught them this diagonal motion. Pressure. Yes, good girl. Except for that she just fell off. Come on, up. Do it for real. Pressure. Yes, good girl. Okay. So that's kind of how I've taught a lot of their stuff, is by doing the luring mixed with the word, mixed with a yes and a treat after they've completed the task. Now sometimes luring goes amiss and they do something wrong. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get her to do anything wrong, but let's see. Alright, what if I do... Let's do this new one that we've done. Okay, come here. Next one. Alright. Cora. So, block. Yes, good girl. Yeah, see, I couldn't do it. But if she, were... Here, let me see if I can get her to do it. This is a new one that she's learning. This is that if I am tired or weak, she'll stand over me, so I have something I can kind of, balance myself with. Okay, come here. Block. See, sometimes when I say block, she'll do a pressure instead, because she doesn't quite understand yet what blocking in front of me is when I'm sitting or laying down, or kneeling. I'm not laying down. So she'll do a pressure. Come here, Cora. Up. So I won't say yes and I won't treat, because that's not what I asked for. So Cora. Block. Yes! Good girl. I'll correct the situation. So she was going down, so I put my hand underneath her legs behind her rib area in this little area. I put my hand here. She understands that meant stand up. And so instead of laying down, she stood up and I said yes, because that's what I wanted. And then I gave her a treat. And again, this is so she can give me stability, because when I'm sitting up here, it's not like I need a lot of stability. But if I go into an attack, or if my abdomen is in an attack, I can't sit up and I'll slump forward, which causes breathing issues, pain, a lot of other things. And I could possibly suffocate, because I've had that happen where I almost nearly suffocated just from being too compressed, because I literally have no tonnage at all in my abdomen. I'll just crumple. And so to have her stand over me and even lean into me, which is what we're going to work on next, is the leaning into me part, that'll keep me from falling forward, and I can actually lay my head on her, and that's not necessarily going to be too heavy on her, because I'm going to be sitting against something, she'll be leaning into me, and my head is probably the only thing that she's going to really be holding up. And it's just going to mean that she's keeping me the right direction instead of me falling all the way forward. So, where'd you guys go? Coraline, Diesel. I go back to my room, because I got bored. They're like, what are you talking about? We don't care about any of this stuff. So Diesel, this is something that he's done, that task where he stands over me and push pressure on me. He's done that automatically since pretty much getting him. He sits. Yes, go boy. Alright, down. Yes, go boy. So for these guys, obviously I'm weaning them off treats. So So their main thing is supposed to be I praise and give them actual praise. So if I go, Diesel, sit. Diesel, sit. Yes, good boy. Diesel, down. Yes, good boy. Oh, such a good boy. So I'm trying to get them more on that wavelength right now than the actual treat wavelength. But since I was showing you guys how to train and how to start and how to get your little toes in the water, that's how I would definitely suggest doing it. Unless you have a dog like Diesel who just wants to make everybody happy. Diesel from the very beginning never needed a treat. But you can pretend to have a treat or have your fans smell like a treat to do the luring. Or a food or anything. Like go touch a chicken, they'll follow your hand anywhere you go. And then you can give them you as the praise. That's how I do it. Oh, sorry, Diesel. I'm so sorry, buddy. I just elbowed him in the face. So if you guys like this video, awesome. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe below. And Cora is going to make herself a little nest over there in the corner. And Diesel is, I don't know what he's going to do. He's probably going to go join Cora in her little nest in the corner. I think I'm going to kind of bring the video over here. I want to show you what Cora's doing. So Cora, she makes herself into these little cocoons. She won't do anything now that she's on video. Maybe she will. Yep, that's what Cora does. She moves her blankets around till they're comfy, and then she lays down, and then Diesel is just Diesel. Alright, so thank you for joining us for our video today. We hope you liked it. Did you like it, Cora? Did you like it? She's like, get that thing out of my face. Alright, so if you like this video, please subscribe. And let us know what other kind of things you guys would like to see us do next time for a training video. I'm sorry this was kind of scatterbrained because I'm a scatterbrain. We will see you next time on the Possum Squad. Possum Squad, Possum Squad. We're the Possum Squad. Okay, that was a little lame.